Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. I've got my oldie but goodie guest back on the channel, Surgical Goblin. It feels like years, but not really. It's been like a month or two. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, Ash? I'm doing great. Really happy to be back on the channel. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Just hanging in there, you know?
Awesome.
Waiting for this update to hit. But dude, you know, it's been a while and you have a new team. You're part of Team Liquid now. It must have been hard to say goodbye to Team Queso after, you know, like a year in the org, or quite a while at least. What was it like, and how did you decide on Team Liquid, man?
Yeah, for sure. As you said, like, I've been part of Team Queso for over a year, so it was definitely really hard making this decision. I mean, Team Queso is a great organization. I met so many like new friends and stuff like this. Like, I was able to participate in many events. Yeah. So I'm definitely really thankful for everything. But Liquid actually reached out to me, and Team Liquid, I believe, like, he has been in esports for 15 years or maybe even more. So they are definitely a really like experienced organization. They know what they are doing, and I actually like thought it was like a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So that's what helped me, to take this decision. So I'm definitely really excited for it, but especially also because one of my teammates is actually Azilis, in my opinion, one of the best in the world as well, like really consistent. So I really can't wait to compete in CR with Team Liquid.
Yeah, indeed. Actually, at King's Cup 2, when we were kind of scouting in Viva La Sparky to pick out, to draft the players, you were like, Zillies is really good. That was like one of the first times I'd heard of him. But anyway, congratulations. I got to ask, too, like, being such a well-known player, was it cool being kind of recruited by all these big endemic esport organizations? Did you actually talk to, like, the CEO?
Yeah, I actually talked to many organizations, like, mainly reached out to me via Twitter, like the DM. And at first, like, for example, like over a year ago, like I never expected to be contacted like by all those huge organizations. And actually with Team Liquid, the CEO, like one of the CEOs is Dutch. So I actually had dinner with him in the Netherlands over here. So that was really cool.
Yeah, that works out, I'd say, right?
Yeah.
Nice, man. That's really cool. That must have been a really awesome opportunity. So what I want to do is in today's video is kind of just hop into ladder matches, and you are not Max, you're just on your regular account right now. So you're going to be playing a deck, just the classic bait deck, which you're really comfortable with, and you don't have a Max Goblin Barrel. So obviously Zap can kill it. And that's a situation where a lot of people on ladder find themselves. So today I want to focus on just strategy for playing when you're not Max, when you have underleveled win conditions, and you can kind of give us some tips along the way. But let's hop into a match, and I'll kind of just rattle off some questions as we go. Okay,
sounds good. I'm searching for an opponent right now, and let's see.
Yeah, you're pretty high, too. You're like 1,500-ish right now without max cards again. So let's see how you handle this first matchup here. So, you know, just kind of walk us through, especially with kind of a bait deck. Can we go ahead and tell us maybe a little bit of strategy for how to use your Goblin Barrel when Zap can kill it?
Well, if you know that the Zap can kill it, like in my case, like my barrel's level 7. So as you said, like the Zap will kill it, the max Zap. So if you know he has Zap, you can always try to trick him by dropping the barrel a little bit behind it, or either baiting out the Zap with, for example, using your Goblin Barrel. So in this case, I don't really want to risk it, because let's say he has a Golem. I don't really want to put my Knight in the back, because let's say he puts a Golem into the same lane. I don't really have a small tank for my Goblin Gang. Like, if he would drop a Golem in this case, I can go with Knight Goblin Gang in the other lane to pressure. But in this case, I'd rather just wait, especially also in double elixir. It's fine with lockbait. You can actually have a good defense. And also for underleveled people, like, in my opinion, a good tip would be, like, try to focus on one deck, because in this case, like as you said, like I'm really comfortable with Lockbait. Lockbait is one of my most comfortable decks. I actually had like even like competitive wise. So if you look at the top of the ladder, maybe it's not the best example, but the consistent players who are consistently at the top of the ladder are actually people who kind of really mastered one deck. For example, Giant Three Musketeers is one of those decks who are consistently on the top of the ladder.
Yes, indeed. And it looks like he's playing Three Musketeers, of course, the classic version. So how do you feel about this matchup? Not that great, I guess, for you.
Yeah, I would say it all depends on the start, because let's say I didn't have Rocket in the start and he would be able to get an elixir advantage. It will be a really tough situation, but so far I think it's actually pretty 50-50. I had quite a good starting hand. I mean, I had the Rocket for his Collector, and I think my Princess can get a lot of value in this matchup.
Yeah. So what is your strategy going to be as far as tempo goes in this matchup? Are you going to wait? Well, it's already double elixir time, but are you going to be saving the Rocket now, or how are you going to handle Three Musketeers?
So I don't want him to build up an elixir advantage. He will probably drop his 3 musketeers, so I'll try to be reactive with the tornado, as you can see here, pulling them all in one lane, and then I will try to cycle to either the rocket or the princess. He might minor my princess here. Looks like he doesn't, so I'll actually try to keep the pressure on this side. And then I cycle back to a new princess, trying to kill all his musketeers over there. He will probably get a good amount of damage though, but let's go with the Ice Spirit, trying to freeze most of them.
Beautiful defense there. I love how you cycled. See, that's like a pro. I mean, it doesn't seem like it, right? Because, like, yeah, whoop-de-dub, cycle to another princess, but that's like a pro move right there that I wouldn't have done. I would have probably already tried to react to the musketeers rather than cycle. Does that just come in time, in repetition?
Yes, I think it's just basically experience with the deck, because I didn't like spam games with this, but I played it quite a lot, of course. I know like what to do in certain situations. So here I have my tornado hovering, because knowing that he might drop his musketeers, and he doesn't have lock, so the barrel will actually get a lot of damage. Then I just cycle to my princess. I can actually lock the musketeers. This way I don't take too much damage. And I just cycle to my barrel again, knowing that he doesn't have zap. He will probably go with his main horde. But by that time I already cycled to a new princess, so right now I can just go with like Ice Spirit to the side and then a new princess. He might go with his minor dole, but let's see. So let's have the Night Raid. Looks like he actually predicted it, well played on his part. He knew like the minor or the princess was coming, but it didn't really matter, I think.
Yeah, because you have just a rocket log will win it here?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I actually wasn't sure about the damage, but it looks like it will. So I think I could have finished it off earlier. Actually,
yeah, I was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I thought I was wrong at first. So I was like, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, GG anyway. So that was really cool because his zap could one-shot your Goblin Barrel, but you were able to just bait it out using other things.
Yeah, true.
All right, let's hop into another, man. And maybe just in general, I mean, bait aside now, you said you gave a few good tips for kind of playing ladder without a max account. Now, do you advise, talk about a little bit about substitutions, right? So if you have, say, a higher level, like if a deck calls for Hunter, but you have a higher level Musketeer, obviously the equivalency of Epic and Rare, would you make that sort of a swap, or would you err towards using the original cards that were called for in a deck?
Well, it totally depends on what card it is. For example, in this case, a princess, if let's say someone has a level 10 Dart Goblin or a level, even a max Dart Goblin, I wouldn't suggest using a max Dart Goblin over, for example, a level 3 princess, just because it doesn't have the same effect. Like a princess actually can get lots of value against units like, for example, a main horde or whatever. And a Dart Goblin will actually struggle against main horde, so that's why, like, in certain situations, like, I think in your, like, example with the Hunter and the Musketeer, I think it will be fine because the Musketeer is a high DPS unit, same as the Hunter. So I think in that case it will be fine. But I think in other cases, like, as I said, like, with a splash unit over, for example, a single target unit, then I wouldn't suggest doing that.
That's a good point there, because everybody just says, oh, Dark Goblin for princess, but it's not quite that easy. You would rather have an underleveled princess.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about, are there any cards that you consider like a good card to add for free-to-play players? So let's say, you know, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head, but maybe like, oh, free-to-play players should definitely add Knight in place of Epic cards or something like that. Do you think there's a really high level or high value common card or rare card that you think subs in a lot that people don't use that often? Maybe a Valkyrie, I don't know.
I think it depends also on your trophy range, because like the lower you are, more like kind of swarmy decks are there, like with Skarmy and stuff like that, maybe even Barbarians. So then a Valkyrie could get lots of value, of course. But I think, 1 second.
Yeah, sure. Deal with this P.E.K.K.A.
So what I want to say, I think is that quick cycle decks actually can do really well against like maxed opponents or over-leveled opponents, just because with quick cycle decks you're able, like for example right now with
Lockbait, you're proving it right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like he has max P.E.K.K.A. He has really good levels, like max most of the rares max, also max Epic and stuff. So in this case, actually with Lockbait, I'm able to outplay him just because I like cycle so quick. I try to keep track of his cycle and just try to attack when he can't really do much. And of course, like, have a solid defense. So in my opinion, free-to-play players should mainly focus on quick cycle decks, like for example, Hawk cycle deck. In this case, a bait deck, maybe even a mortar deck or whatever. Yeah. But I think with quick cycle, it's easier to outplay your opponent, like a higher leveled opponent, than with, for example, a Golem beatdown deck or a really heavy deck.
Dude, when you're playing and you're answering my questions, it's like I have no idea. You're like a machine. Are you human?
I think so, yes.
Okay, all right, all right. So, because like, how are you keeping track of all this stuff and answering my questions so well?
I have no idea.
Okay, so as you're answering my questions, like, let's
Yeah.
play one more match. As you're
Okay.
answering my questions, you're obviously still focusing on the match. So I want to get
Yes.
next level here. Like, what are you thinking of in the match? Like, how are you keeping track of his counters and stuff while you're still answering my questions? Like, there's got to be something next level that's going on here that I want to get to the bottom of.
But I mean,
What
of
are you
course,
thinking
like,
about? What are you thinking about?
Well, right now I'm just trying to get information about his deck. Looks like we might actually be playing a mirror match over here.
Okay.
So yeah, he used the lock. It's fine to use the lock because we have the gang. So I'm still waiting for his other cards, of course. Looks like he actually has a mortar, so that could be really tough. But he did use the lock. So let's try to let the mortar lock onto the knight. Once it locked on the knight, actually I think I retired. That was a bad goblin gang, I think. Let's see, yeah, bad goblin gang. But I think it's fine still. So in the beginning of the match, I'll always try to find information. Like he might still have a miner, he might still have a hawk rider. That's why I have like the tornado ready. Let's try to activate it. I'm not sure if the level 3 miner will actually die.
Oh!
Yeah, it will actually die.
Dude, you run
Okay.
into another free-to-play guy, maybe. I don't know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, it's harder to.
But he still has
explain it.
Zap and Log.
Yeah. Yeah, so right here, I will still drop the Goblin Gang. I know that he will probably log it, but once he logs it, knowing that he has Zap, but it looks like he actually doesn't use it. I will actually go with a Tricky Barrel, trying to trick him. Let's see if he does.
Wow,
Looks like he doesn't. He actually saw it with his Zap while playing his part. And in this case, I'll actually try to keep the pressure with the Princess, trying to force out either his lock or like him having to spend something. So in this case, he actually used the lock, knowing that he also just used the Zap. We can try to cycle to our Goblin Gang. Again, I will go with Ice Spirit. He will actually tank it this time, so this time I actually can go with... Oh, he actually did freeze. Nice. Let's go with the Goblin Gang again. And he did maybe cycle to Zap, but yeah, he cycled to Zap. Yeah, so this is a really tough matchup.
Yeah,
I'm not
it
sure
is.
if I'm able to beat this. So far, I think he's playing this really well, keeping up the pressure and chipping away.
Yeah.
But let's see. Let's again go with a Princess Up High. Princess Up High can sometimes deal like lots of damage either, or like bait out the spell. For example, the lock. This case, he actually has to spend and his Ice Spirit and his Spear Goblins.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's go with a barrel, trying to keep the pressure. If he uses his lock over there, looks like he does. But again, like the Zap will kill our barrel, so we're not playing his part.
This is this is like the biggest thing with free to play bait. It's just like so frustrating, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So here I know that he will probably play his mortar, so I kind of want to be more aggressive with my Goblin Gang. So again, he used his lock, but I can't really do much because again, like the Zap kills it. Let's go with the Ice Spirit. And here I dropped the Princess, knowing that he might go with either Spear Goblins. In this case, he actually dropped his main horde, which is even better for us. So let's see. We know that he doesn't have a big spell, so we definitely don't want to take any like more damage, because right now like he doesn't have it in, for example, double rocket range or anything like this.
Yeah.
So I threw the barrel right there. He actually went with the Ice Spirit, but the Ice Spirit doesn't kill it. We might get a bit of chip damage there. Looks like we did. That was really nice. So let's again go with a Prince Up High. Let's go with the Ice Spirit, distracting the mortar. He goes with his lock, and he also used the Zap, so we actually can maybe get some damage over here. Looks like he does go with a Goblin Gang, and he again gets a mortar hit. So this will be tricky right here. I could try to go with Rocket Cycle, but I think I'd rather... Okay, let's see. Let's go. Tornado, Ice Spirit. Okay.
And in this situation, as a free-to-play player, obviously for the video, you're trying to go for it, but would you play for a draw normally?
It totally depends on the situation. I think right now it's worth it to keep playing.
Yep.
Well,
the log!
Nice.
The god tier log!
Okay, let's see. Let's go with Goblin Gang of High, Ice Spirit, trying to cycle. Let's see if he drops something. Looks like he goes with his main horde, and he used the lock, but again he has the Zap. I'm not sure if this is enough with the lock. I'll try to get it. Let's see. I'm spamming. I think we got it.
3,
2, 1. Let's
go!
Okay, really nice. Wow.
I love how you did it at the very last second to end the video off in style, Surge. Well, hey, dude. I just wanted to thank you again. It's certainly not the easiest thing to be like, hey, dude, why don't you play your most underleveled win condition on top of the 1,000 ladder? So thank you again for coming on the channel, man. Can we be looking forward to anything interesting coming on your YouTube channel, or just more of the same awesome, like, you do mostly GC content, so more like grand challenges?
Right now I'm mainly uploading 12-win GC. I, to be honest, can't wait for the update. Like, I really want a new meta to cover, maybe like a new challenge, of course, like new meta decks and stuff like that. So I really can't wait for that. And once the new meta is there, I will definitely be uploading lots of 12 wins decks.
Awesome, man. Last question before you go. If you could nerf or buff one card, what would it be?
Right now?
Yep.
Nerf Dark Prince for sure. I think it's everywhere. Buff? That's a good question. I didn't really think about it.
How about what card? Just name a card that you like that's not used too much right now. Do you like Bowler? I feel like he needs.
Yeah, for example, personally, I really like, as you said, like Bowler, I really like, but also really like Goblins. But just because the Dark Prince is so popular, Goblins doesn't really have a place in the meta right now. So I think by buffing by nerfing the Dark Prince, the Goblins will kind of indirectly get a buff. So it doesn't really need a buff. But just because, yeah, the Dark Prince is so popular, I think those cards will get back into the meta. Maybe a good card to buff would actually be like a Bomber or maybe like a Skeleton Barrel, because Skeleton Barrel is like never used anymore.
Yeah.
They kind of killed the card. Or maybe even a Mega Knight.
Yeah, I forgot about those cards. It's been so long since I've seen him. But hey,
Exactly.
man, it's very apropos that Surgical Goblin picks the Goblin as the card that needs the buff. But dude, thanks again for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem. It was a lot of fun.
All right, guys, that's going to do it. Make sure you go subscribe and check out all of Surgical Goblin's YouTube, Twitter, and player stats on Stats Royale. They'll all be linked in the description. Subscribe to him. He's absolutely amazing. Obviously, you guys already know his YouTube channel, but check it out. He actually came on the channel. You came on the channel back in the day when you were not even a YouTuber. So,
Exactly.
So he's come a long way. So, guys, thank you so much to Surgical, and thank you so much for watching. Huge shout out to Bren Chong, my YouTube partner. Check out his information in the description below. Guys, thanks so much, and as always, take care, guys.